gonna get the messy shit out of the way on top. Patreon.com/criticalJamesTheory. Your boy's unemployed. Go. There's stuff there for you to watch, and you know what I mean. Like I got a couple people on there already. Shout out to Alex and Deshaun. I know who Alex is. Don't know who Deshaun is, but I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to y'all. But yeah, Patreon.com/criticalJamesTheory. Bunch of old shit on there. Bunch of sketch comedy. Bunch of old defunct podcasts before I knew what I was doing. There's a bunch of videos on there with a very short-lived run of me attempting to be a YouTube reactor. Very embarrassing. But if you pay, you can watch them. That's it. That's all I wanted to say at the beginning. But welcome back to another episode of Critical James Theory. I am James Knight, and with me, I didn't ask how he wanted to be introduced, but I'm going to do it off the fly. Improv, if you will or will not. To my left, a very funny Philadelphia comedian, a legend in the community, so to speak. The Nigerian nightmare himself. Forget Christian Okoye. My friend Setoiyo.
Hey, thanks for having me on, James. And I appreciate the intro. That was very nice.
Hell yeah. I missed a couple things. I wanted to say AKA the foreigner.
Yes.
Because, go buy that. You know what I mean? Go listen.
Yes, that is my stand-up comedy album. You can listen to on Apple, Amazon, Spotify. You can buy that. I recorded it at Helium Comedy Club last year, and it's excellent. I stand on it.
Hell yes.
100%.
The man stands on business.
And I stand on business.
I fucking love that phrase. Yeah. I don't know when it got into the lexicon, but it...
When they brought it in, I was like, that's pretty... Yeah, it fits. It wasn't one of those... Remember when they were saying, like, say less? And I was like, that is a little confusing. I felt like that one aged me a bit. I was like, this is unfair. Y'all... This feels like some sort of Gen Z nonsense. Yes. But stand on business? I was like, oh, no. This is something your uncles would have said.
Yeah, stand on business.
Stand on business. Huh? Yeah.
The one that almost made me feel old for the first time was Riz. That one almost got me.
Riz, yeah. The Riz, Glizzies.
Glizzy.
Like that.
Glizzy I was with a little bit. Glizzy didn't... I was like, okay, I understand this. I understand that I don't understand this, but I also understand it.
Yeah.
But Riz, when somebody explained like the etymology of the word, I was like, oh...
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's short for charisma.
Yes.
Like, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, I would have preferred it if we just would have kept saying the word charisma, because that's a cool word too. I don't think we gotta circumcise every word that has more than 3 syllables. I think sometimes you just gotta let them words be them words, but
Gen Z will circumcise a phrase.
Yeah, the hell out of that.
They're
phrase.
good at a lot of shit. They're good at that. They're good at not. They're good at protesting, which I love.
Yes, love that for them.
Millennials, we not.
We did it. We
over it, man.
We did that. We was like, we gotta be outside. How long? Where? Hey, I was at Occupy. I got to do this again?
I saw 9/11 in 10th grade live.
Yeah, live, bro. We was already outside.
What you do?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm going to keep it a beam with you, Gen Z. I love y'all for taking up that mantle because, man, from 18 to about George Floyd, like that's the George Floyd one, I was like, I think this is my last go round. Yep. My knees are starting to hurt. Like, this tear gas situation. I'm not really feeling these cops do not care. And my mama wants me to come home for Christmas. I gotta figure some things out.
Man.
Yeah.
Home. OH.
I-O, goddammit.
I know it. I got family out there.
Yep.
Oh man. I like Ohio. Like I think it's because and I'm not taking a dump on where you're from.
Sure.
But I feel like I like it because my times there are very short.
Yeah, that's the best way to go about it. I mean, I take a shit on where I'm from. I like. Let me be clear with y'all. I'm from Columbus. I cannot speak for the rest of Ohio. So when you meet someone who's from Cleveland, they are from Cleveland. They ain't trying to speak for the rest of Ohio. You meet someone from Cincinnati, they are from Cincinnati or Kentucky because it's right there. It's the same thing with Philadelphia. you don't really hear Philadelphians be talking about I'm a Pennsylvanian. No, they say I am a Philadelphian. When my mom asked me, how's Pennsylvania? I'm like, I wouldn't know. I live in Philadelphia. It's a totally different place. So I live in Columbus. And that's where Columbus is cool. Columbus is a cool city. There's a lot more to do now. There are more comedy clubs there now. Shout outs to the Attic in Columbus, Ohio. But yeah, it's like, I mean, if you're just gonna be kicking at the crib, you got about a 9-10 day window before you feel like you gotta get up out of there. And especially if you ain't doing no long distance thing there, and there's no one that you rubbing fronts with. About 7 days, 7 to 9 days, you start thinking, I need to get back to work. I need to go.
You can get caught up though out there, like, because especially if you're a gentleman who prefers certain fights in a certain weight class, so to speak. You can have a good time.
Oof, don't I know it?
You can have a good time.
You can have a good time. That's part of the problem, because they want you, because they want to make sure you have a good time, such a good time that you got to stay. That's one thing I'll say, and I've noticed this now after COVID. A lot of y'all running around a little reckless, a little irresponsible in your rubbing fronts behaviors in the Midwest. Woo! So many people, men and women, was never about that condom life. It did not. And I'll tell you, it just didn't factor in. So you can have you some fun in Ohio, but that girl gonna make sure this fun continues. Because now it's not just fun; it's a responsibility.
That's scary.
Yeah,
that's scary because I do like my freedom, and also in my day, I was a little loose.
Yeah.
With the hats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really my thing.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to whoever and whatever is looking out for me, because wow, how am I still here?
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, we was running crazy. The 2000s, the 2010s was
the
man.
Black Planet days were trouble for me.
Louise, bro.
The pre-cam days, like if you just had to go off of a voice, maybe.
Yep.
Maybe. Like,
you had to try. Your ears were better. We had better natural instincts. Social media wasn't everywhere, so we were more instinctive creatures. There were more tells. We were low key detectives. Really.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like I found myself in many a precarious situations. Like the likes of which I shouldn't have come back from.
I mean, but that's the beauty of ingenuity at the time. Like, if you put yourself in that same situation now, it's probably over for you. But young man, you just like, hey man, I gotta survive. I gotta get through this. I'm young. I'm gonna live forever. Now you think about it as a grown man, be like, I should have been finished.
Oh my God!
I should have been finished.
Why am I in Irvington, New Jersey at 3 a.m. in a building? Like, you got to walk past a certain amount of men wearing all the same color to get to a place, to a lady who they're all familiar with for whatever reason. Maybe they're just friends. Maybe whatever.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Hey, listen,
I gotta walk past a group of bloods.
Talk about hey, the things we do for love. You know what I'm saying? Like the things, or especially when they sit there and think this girl is the finest thing ever. I will risk it all. See, I didn't really have that in Columbus, Ohio. So you knew where the Bloods were. You knew where like the Crips were. And Columbus is such a spread out environment. It's not like Philadelphia or even like the tri-state, where the tri-state's kind of weirdly centralized, right? It's all roads kind of lead into cities or the biggest environment in wherever you are. In Columbus, all roads sort of lead out. So after a while, you're not really around the Bloods and the Crips unless you go to where they at. And that is a conscious decision. And you not taking your car over there. And the girl you kicking it with, she don't want to expose you to that because she wants you to like her. So she says, "Come stay where I'm gonna go where you at."
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so the girls will come up to where I was at. So your girl, she lives on the hilltop, historically a bad area in Columbus at that time. Maybe not so much anymore. But she'd be like, "No, I can come to you. I can come to you. Okay, I live on Bethel Road in Columbus, Ohio. Come through." Yeah, that's nice and safe for me. I also know where you at, and I'll do even the gentlemanly thing. Hey, you know what? I'll drive you home. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, immediately.
Immediately. I ain't getting out the car. I'm not gonna get out the car because first of all, I don't need them to see me.
No.
Because if you the homegirl, They, men get a little sensitive. Young men get a little sensitive.
They do, because that's
over that. That's the homie.
That's the homie.
That's the homie, and she probably dated one of them. He hasn't recovered psychologically from when they broke up. Like, you don't want that smoke.
Weird tribal energy. I don't need that.
I don't need that. I'm just here for the coming and going.
Specifically the going.
Specifically the going.
I gotta get out of here.
After you come, what more is there to do? Really?
We're still in Ohio.
But go, yeah. I gotta go home. So much.
Golly, man. Nah, I knew some smoke shows from Ohio, and I had to be like, you know what? I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
I mean, I've never regretted it.
Sure.
I've never regretted any of the smoke shows, because some, you really care about and then wind up in relationships with or whatever else. But it is astounding to me that I got out of there without getting anyone pregnant. Like, it is
It's amazing.
It is astounding to me that I got out of there
odds.
with not on my side. But I think I had the fear of my Nigerian mother put a healthy bit of fear in me. It was, don't bring the police home. Don't bring trouble home, and do not bring a baby home. It was those things. Like, if you, because her perspective was, if you bring those things home, I can't help you. Like, she was straight up like, I can't help you. If you bring the police home, they're gonna put trouble. I don't got the money to help with that. Nope. If you bring trouble home, I don't know what to do with trouble. I moved you away from the trouble. I moved us to the suburbs to get away from potential trouble. And you have the audacity to bring trouble here. No, stay outside with trouble then. Should be super Nigerian. No, stay outside. You wanted to be out there? Stay. That's where you live now. You stay there with them. You stay with trouble since you want it so much. And then, you bring a kid home. Well, I know, Mom. She's like, well, motherfucker, all your dreams is finished.
It's over now. I'm
gonna
go get you some applications.
So here's what you gonna do. Here's what you will do to take care of my grandchild. Because now she's gonna be over the moon to have this grandchild. Yep. She may not necessarily care for that for this woman. Mm-hmm. Hopefully she does, but Nigerian moms are such that it's like, they like you until you give them a reason to not like them. So,
I had growing up, I didn't really know in my areas very many African folks. But when we moved from the rural hood of Penns Grove, New Jersey, don't ever go there.
Yeah.
To the suburbs, there was one African family there. It was a cool little dude. His name was John Arakateta. I don't know if he was Nigerian or not, because it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I remember, because my mother, both of my parents raised me with a little bit of a sense.
Yes.
I remember hearing the other kids talk about how scary it was at John's house, and how his grandmom was, and then they had all these weird things on them. I went over there. I was like, oh, y'all are just assholes.
Yeah.
You just weren't nice. You
just weren't nice, yeah.
And then the grandmother said, oh, you're not nice.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be nice.
I'm not going to be nice to you,
yeah. And so if you're just nice, and you don't be weird in there, you can probably stay for dinner, and it's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy, because I remember having that same issue, especially before my mom got the house. By the time my mom got the house, I was already kind of mobile, driving and whatever else. But by that point, my mom got her house, I really didn't want people coming over too much, because prior to that, living in townhomes, it was that same thing. Your house smells weird. They're making fun of your food, and I'm like, it smells like fresh food.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell processed. And it's and I was lactose intolerant, so I'm drinking lactate milk. So motherfuckers are making fun of me because of the milk. I'm like, I don't want to be drinking milk. No way. This is just a part of the diet.
It's weird that this is in the diet.
Y'all be drinking cow stuff. And you looking at me crazy because my body can't break that down. I'm the weird one. Because I'm weird.
Yeah, it's me.
It's me. Yeah, so they would just talk a lot of shit. And I didn't know who was it. It hurt more with the black folk because their insults were better, right? The white folk, it was just okay, this is just it's ignorant on both ends. But the black folk, it's nah, they just get you on the school bus and, bro, I just brought you into my mom's crib, and now you just insulting. Now you're mortgaging our friendship. You're mortgaging because now you're insulting my mom.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I can't go back into the crib knowing that I just let some motherfucker named Tony insult my mama. Like I just can't let that slide.
I feel like Tony. I feel like that's a real name. That
Like you can't. I can't let that really. And especially, but my mom. But no, it's totally the same thing. You just come in, you're nice, you're saying hello, whatever, and that's why generally when I would go to people's houses as a kid, I never had no problems because I just knew how to act.
Yeah.
It's just like I just.
It'll be weird if they say take your shoes off.
Yeah, if they say take your shoes off. It's fine.
Well, I got dirty socks.
Yeah.
Why your feet stink?
Why your feet stink? Why didn't you don't wash your feet? A lot of y'all not washing your feet. That's another thing. That's the thing that is still plaguing not just our youth, but our adults. Some of you are not washing your legs. You're not washing your feet. I don't know what the fuck type of entitlement that is.
That's different. Like,
that's a different thing.
There's comedians who are they're just on podcasts, famous comedians who are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Admitting that they don't.
Yeah, one said he doesn't use rags. He's like, that's the behavior of the pores.
What?
And I'm just like, I don't see this, but this is why you can't take some white people serious. Because for white people, it's really nothing for a white person to amass wealth. Like if you have functioning brain cells, you can put some sentences together, and you have a healthy amount of drive. They want to give that money to the vast majority of these white folk. So when I hear white people say shit like that, I'm like, no, that's just a ridiculous thing. But you're rich, it doesn't matter, and people have had to tolerate you stinking. Like, I'm not speaking of your skill level. Whatever it is you do. I'm just talking about how you smell. People have had to tolerate you stinking and you smelling, and they have lied to you and said it's not an issue for so long that you just hey, yeah, I'm clean.
Yeah.
I'm just good. I actually know a person whom they were going through like a real hard situation in their relationship, and one of the major issues was hygiene. And they were just like, yo, like they don't take care of themselves. They're not brushing regularly. They're not doing X, Y, and Z regularly. And I'm just like, why are you living with, like, what, like, looking, and this was an attractive person. So I'm like, I want to look, of course, they both white. So they both white. You knew this. So, and again, you want to come from a place of understanding and whatever, but no. I'm just like, why would you knew his bald hygiene was terrible. Right? You knew he didn't care. You knew this. You knew. And she kicked it with black people for. So you had already seen that there was a standard.
Yeah.
And you said, no, I'm going to go to this because this feels like home.
Home stink.
That home stinks. That is abuse. That is a person putting themselves through abuse. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you felt like that's what you need to do to yourself.
We were having a conversation off camera about dating, and a white woman that potentially was in the market on my end. You just say, hey, how you doing? And the text is like, I'm not doing like me. I got my niece niece lives in the house with her, so my niece got foot and mouth. I got strep. I got this thing. It was like 4 things back to back. And I was like, I've never had one of these.
Yeah.
And you got 4 of them at the same time?
Yeah.
We might not be compatible.
Yeah, this might not work.
How do you get all 4 at once?
Y'all be outside too much. Y'all be out here. Would you be out here? I know that's the type of. You hear people got stuff like that. Oh, you let the dog lick you in your mouth.
Yeah, you fresh the dog.
AM
in the morning, like,
you be out here. Yeah, you do that shit. You let the dog sleep in the bed. You sleep with your cats.
No,
you let them do all that stuff. But I know, and I don't want to. But that is gross. It's been scientifically shown to have your pet lay in the bed with you. It's just gross. And these motherfuckers be like, I'm a sucker for love. I don't care. I don't care.
You know, dogs' mouths are cleaner than that. There's no way.
Yes, yeah, please.
There's no way that's true.
Silly lies. And first of all, like you wouldn't trust another person's mouth on your mouth, right? I hope some of y'all are pretty selective on your extracurricular mouth consumption, right?
The hope.
The hope. But a dog, bro, letting after they just been outside licking and sniffing everything. See, yeah.
If left to their own devices, will eat their own poop.
Yes, gladly.
With a smile. Just
they go down on themselves.
Again, something. It's not even a clean themselves.
No, it's just, hey,
It's already gross, and I'm gonna put my gross mouth on my gross parts.
I'm here. These motherfuckers are they here for a short time but a fun time.
And this white lady is gonna kiss me in the mouth later, and then give me some food.
Yeah,
This is the life.
this is the
But this isn't the life that I want to be a part of.
Yeah, it's especially in the Midwest. I noticed that like you date white women, and only because like the sheer numbers, right? It was just like mostly a numbers thing. Not to say you didn't like the person, but it was just like I stayed in an area where like the ratio was like 5-to-1 white folk, right?
Yeah.
So you just wind up getting over, and by the time you meet someone who might look like you, they already in a situation. They already got themselves, ready and good to go. And then you would just kick it, with the white girls, and I just was like, oh, there's just a really, really, an unhealthy obsession with your dog. It's a really unhealthy obsession. Like, these are the types of motherfuckers, but I like dogs more than people. We know. We see it in your voting practices and your political ideologies. You out here trying to make other human beings in your life who love you feel insecure about a dog. What's wrong with you? Fix yourself, please. Yeah. That's not a nice thing. And again, if I met a black woman who did that, I'd be like, that's fucking weird. But guess what? I don't be running into them who be out here talking about I covet the life of my dog more than human beings.
They'd be like, I love my dog.
I love my dog.
I fuck with him heavy.
Yes.
But he also sleeps out there.
Yeah.
Or on the floor.
Yeah, or in the cage.
Or in the cage. Or outside sometimes, depending on where you are.
Yeah, fact. Yeah.
But like, I'm not cat. The cat people, white or black, tend to be a little bit less gross.
Yeah.
But even still, there are certain rules that they don't abide by. Like, the cat shouldn't be on your kitchen table or any place where you break bread or cook, prepare food.
Yeah, that's the thing. Cats are such chaos agents. They don't care. Mm-mm. And I think what I see with a lot of cat owners, regardless of their race, they're kind of like exhausted by their cat, and they are proud. They are proud that they were able to train their cat enough to not claw people all the time. And cats are so nimble and quick, so when the cat just hops up on the the dining area, they're just like, oh, come on. And they please get down, and the thing, the lifting, and that's exhaustion. That is like I've been doing this with you. You're 7 and you're still doing this. And they're also grateful. This is no longer the kitten that had like boundless energy that they couldn't catch. It's a more of a sedentary creature. Like, all right, cool, boom, whatever else. I will say this though, cat people, not good communicators. Not good communicators.
Okay.
No, they're not good communicators. Well, let me be not good communicators, especially the whites. Not good communicators. Because they're just like, I know what the cat wants. Well, the cat doesn't really communicate with you that much, right? As a result, it's kind of a relationship where you don't have to do as much. Whereas the dog is over communicating. Like the dog's just telling you,
now.
I need it now. I gotta do it now. I gotta do it now. We gotta talk now. We gotta talk now. The cat's just like, nothing's wrong, and then he'll just do the most passive-aggressive shit ever.
Knock your dinner off.
Yeah, knock your dinner. You fucking did.
You thought that was good?
Yeah, kill a mouse and then leave it for you. See everything I do for you is a gift. Say thank you. And then the people who had this, they end up doing the same thing. Not good communicators. No.
That's it. I like that point.
Yeah.
I like that point.
Yeah.
So, enough about the whites. They got enough.
Yeah, they get enough airtime.
They got plenty of airtime. Comedy.
Yeah.
The thing both you and I love and hate. How'd you get started?
It was a freak. It was just sort of a freak thing, man. I was coming off a really bad knee injury from dance that I had surgery on my knee, and I had to have arthroscopic knee surgery. So I was chilling at the crib. I couldn't dance, so I couldn't really work. I was rehabbing. I was in my early 20s, like 24, going through essentially an identity crisis. Never been hurt before. Never thought I would not be dancing at an incredibly high level. And my friends previous to this have been telling me for years, do stand-up. You're really, really funny, da-da-da. And I was like, bro, I can spin on my head. What the shit I do is way cooler than these fucking. You want me to be a fucking comic like these fucking losers, bro? These fucking like insecure, these dweebs. You want me to do like the fucking marksman? Like, you know? So and they were telling me since I was a teenager, do comedy. And I was like, you guys are crazy. But I had nothing to do. And I was just like, I might as well do it. And I kind of been talked into it. And I'd written some satirical articles that some of my friends found really funny. And a girl I was dating at the time, like, you know, took a lot of initiative. And she, like, found an open mic. And so I went to the open mic and asked them how the rules went. And they just told me. They kind of gave me just a basic breakdown of what it's all like. And I went home and I wrote out 5 minutes of material, or at least I thought would constitute as 5 minutes of material. And I rehearsed it for 2 weeks, which seems insane to me now. And that girl, that sweet woman, I tortured her. She was just there. She would just be there to hear, yo, run it by me again. I want to hear it again. Da, 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 da. That was a good person.
Yeah.
That was a good person. And then I went and on stage 2 weeks, later, and then it went way too well. It went way too well. My friends came and the people laughed and they were having fun, and it was like comics were talking to me afterward, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I could have quit there. I could have stopped, and I would have won. I have so much respect for the people who do comedy once, have a good set, and they're like, that's it, I'm done. I'm like, yeah, you go out a champion. And it came about that way, and the next week I went back and I bombed because I had figured out comedy. You see, I was going to change everything. I already knew everything about everything. So I had so now they were like, we'll give you 7 to 10 minutes. I'm like, perfect. I want to talk about sexting. And I went on stage and proceeded to talk about sex. No jokes. I talked. So it was bad. There were black people in the room, and it was one of them situations like there all these black people in the front row. So yeah, my first bomb was in front of blacks. Like, so that's particularly brutal. So no one's booing because they have Midwest sensibilities, but all these motherfuckers got their phones out and they are looking into them. So I remember getting off stage feeling pretty bad, and I asked one of the comedians, comic by the name Dean Masello, very funny guy, still around. And I was like, what happened? And he was like, remember what you did last week? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, you didn't do that this time. He was like, you were funny last time. I don't know, you were trying to be right this time. No one cares about that. You be funny first. You figure out that right shit later. So then it's like, okay, that's good. And then, and so, yeah, it kind of stole off from there. My friends abandoned me after the third open mic, like they should have. They're, oh, you got to keep on doing this shit? So they just laughed. They were like, we cannot continue. We have lives. Like, we need.
Like, we
have lives.
Morning,
it's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday. This is very strange. But I kind of just flirted with it for about a year. I wasn't like this instantaneous, like, oh, I'm going to go all in thing. That didn't happen until maybe I was like a year in, and I was like, fuck it. Let's just go all the way, And that's what precipitated the move to the East Coast.
Damn. So, like, Philly, though, like, maybe it's because I'm from here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I wouldn't have came here.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the homies either, especially back then, either go to New York or they go to Chicago.
Right.
I didn't want to go to Chicago because too cold. Fuck that. Too cold. I don't want to. And also, it was a lot more like when you're in Chicago, you are stuck there. There's not kind of like now it's a little different, but back then, if you go to Chicago, you're just in Chicago. Where are you gonna go to outside Chicago? Illinois? Nah, you're just there. You're just there. And that's kind of what you got going on. And the other homies would go to New York, and then they would leave New York. They would go to New York at the beginning of the year, and I'd see them over Christmas break later on in the year. And I'm like, yo, how's comedy going? They're like, I'm not doing comedy. I'm like, what? They'd be like, I'm working. The rent's really expensive. I'm not used to the hustle bustle pace of all this. I have to start all over again. Nobody knows me. Nobody cares. I'm going to these mics. There's no audience. There's no nothing. Everybody's already clicked up, whatever, or they got themselves a boyfriend, girlfriend situation. They're like, no, life is hard and someone loves me. So I would see from my homies who would go out there, it would take them like 2-3 years to sort of get themselves acclimated to then start doing some stuff. And it worked out for one of the individuals, writes for The Daily Show, but he wanted to be a comic, and the space turned him into a writer, you know what I'm saying? And it took him 4 years just to get his legs under him. And I know another homie who went out there was very highly regarded. He quit. Like, he just quit, and he had some pretty popular stuff going. He just quit. So I was like, well, I don't want that to happen to me because I don't even know if I would like the East Coast. But I had danced in Philly in about 2008, 2009. So I passed through the city, and I was like, well, it's, half the city's black. I like that. And then I was like, well, I've never heard of a bad artist coming out of Philadelphia. The Roots, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, Kevin Hart, Bradley Cooper. However you feel about all these individuals, they're incredibly, incredibly talented and industrious. So you never really hear of like a bad artist like who's from Philadelphia making it. It simply doesn't
Got
happen.
one.
Who's that?
Bill.
Well, so that's
later.
That's
later.
That's
okay.
Well, he's just a monster, right?
The art
is very, very good. That's how he got to be even more monstrous, right?
Right.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, well, cool. Let me move to Philly to see if I even like the East Coast. And then if nothing else, the city will kick the shit out of me and it will make me better. So that's how that came about. And also I was like, it's not as expensive as New York. So it's more, I was in my brain, because Philly is expensive in comparison to like everywhere else that's not the West Coast or DC or Boston or New York. Like Philadelphia thinks they're cheap. They're cheap in comparison to New York. True. So it's like, there's a little bit of that, but yeah, that's what brought that about.
And no, Philly will kick your ass.
Yeah,
but
immediately.
But it's not a softer ass kicking. It's like it's unlike New York. Like New York will kick you, and then they'll just keep stepping over you until you're dead.
Yeah.
Philly, somebody will stop me.
Hey, he got it.
Come on, man, get your shit together.
Philly will do that. Philly will literally beat let's be clear. Philly beat the dog shit out of you. You're not from here. You're not from you come in. This city, you extend your hand. Hello, I'm from. They smack your hand away, spit in your face, kick you in your groin. You fall to the floor. They spit on you. They tell where you come from. You stink. You're nothing. Fuck you. Get fucked. All this other stuff, and like, because they're just inherently very, very suspicious people, which I understand. But one thing I will say is, though, they are kind. They're just not nice.
Yes.
Whereas where I'm from, everybody's really nice, but next to no one's really kind, right? Yeah. So Philadelphians, I remember one time I was stuck in, it was back when we actually had like real snowstorms in the city. There was a particularly bad one, and I was just stuck, and it was stuck in ice and all this other stuff, and everything. And this dude comes out. He's like, "You got a floor mat?" And I know it's like, "You need a floor mat. Hold on, come and get a floor mat." And he just comes, he brings out these floor mats, puts them, like where my tires should be, back up, and just to give the tire traction so that I could get moving. I got moving, and I remember just going and be like, "Oh, thank you so much." He's already walking back to the crib. He doesn't. No, you're in the fucking neighborhood. You're stuck. If you stay stuck like this, you're gonna fuck something up. Just get you fucking where you gotta be. Get this guy out of here. He's good. We did it. Okay, cool. Because he was spinning his car and it was making noise. And I'm watching my shows. I don't have time for this.
That's why I do fuck with this city, because I'm not from Philly. I'm from New Jersey. But it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do fuck with that sensibility. I started comedy way later. I started comedy when I should have known better.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I was 24. I think I should have had a good handle on it would just even when I did it, I wasn't like, oh yeah, you're gonna make something of this. I was just dabbling. I was just flirting for a little bit, and then I was just like, well, if I actually ever want to be good at this thing, it's not gonna happen in Columbus, and that's not Columbus's fault. That was more of an indictment of me. Home was just far too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was the only Black West African open micer at the time, so I kind of had creative license to sort of say whatever, and some of those things just wouldn't have worked other places. So it was just like, it was only when I I'm gonna do it, and then I left and I came here, and the city beat the shit out of me in the first month, and I was like, well, now I'm really gonna do it because y'all don't want me here, I'm West African, so how dare you not want me places? How dare you? Do you know my family, bro? Do you know my grandfather, bro? Okay, do you know like Akwa Ibom State? Are you serious? No, they must be shown. No, that's what it was. Sort of like, okay, well now you're gonna do it.
I remember when you I hadn't met you. I just knew you were like Keen's boy. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know. Yeah. I was solely just doing improv and sketch at the time, and this was at the now defunct Good Theater. Yeah. And you were opening for one of our sketch shows or improv shows. And you came in and you spoke to everybody, and collectively we were all like,
"Yeah, fuck is this guy?"
Well, that was awfully nice. That was pleasant.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
The hell?
Yeah, what did he poison in this time? That used to give me so much heat. They'd be like, "You just go say hi to people." I'm like, "Yeah, because we're all." What you mean? We're technically at work. You say hi to your coworkers. Like, just treat them like like a coworker. I mean, like a friend, just like a coworker. You say hello. Because
we've had stand up. We'd had stand ups open. And, they were just like, or they get there like right as the show started, and then, they didn't really have anything. They'd be gone by the time we got. Yeah. And just that was kind of my introduction to you, and I was just like, I like this guy.
Yeah, it takes nothing to say hello, and shoot the shit. That is always a weird thing. It's like the commas come in, and again, even if you're running multiple spots in a night, you can still be like hello, like you say hey hello, even if you got to get in, get out, hey boom, hey see you, what's up, boom, yeah.
I did that for the first time because I've been doing comedy since for 8 years, but stand up is probably like 3 or 4, and Philly, it can be the city to do do a couple of things, but you gotta really try.
You gotta have your whole situation planned out.
You gotta try to do it. It's not like you can be like, oh, I think, and maybe if I no, you have to know that there's a thing going on, and you can, and it's like, and I did that for the first time, and I was like, oh shit, this feels all right. This is okay. I think it kind of put a little bit of the battery in my back that I was like. I don't know, because with improv, they're again, improv and stand up, it's just like Philly and New York.
Yeah,
improv is is nice, but not kind.
Yeah,
and
stand up is more kind, but not nice.
So it's like with improv, they'll look out for you a little bit more, but. I've been in a lot of them rooms. Niggas will talk behind you.
Oh, you're behind your back?
They will talk that shit. I'm like, yo, you was just... Yeah. But stand-ups, they'll talk that shit right to you. They'll be like, oh, yeah, you can still get on.
You still, you're the shits. Like, you stay... Hey, don't do that shit you did last week, bro. You fucking walked 5 people. What the fuck's wrong? And don't ever tell that joke. The stand-up... Philly is funny because, you have motherfuckers... Don't ever tell that joke ever again. I don't ever want to hear that shit. And I've seen people get hit with that. Don't ever in your life say that ever again. And they make sure other people hear it because that is a shame that you have to live forever. Shame. And they will not let you forget it. They won't let you forget.
And I'm not. I don't have any clout in the city as of right now. But even when I just ran a one time. It was the first and last time I ran an open mic. It was in West Philly. It was a tiki bar that was ran by an African mother and daughter couple tandem, and it was in an alley, but it was real nice. It was done up. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
and we hosted a show there, and then afterwards it was an open mic. So the usual suspects come along, and my dumb ass was like, "Sure, I'll host it."
Yeah.
The first comic, I don't remember who he was. The first comic, white kid, comes up, and he makes a rape joke.
Oh yeah.
The first thing he says out of his mouth was like, "This is what is this an alley? It looks like somebody used to." And she's sitting right next to me, the proprietor of this establishment, and she's an African woman. She's out loud. She's like, "Oh no,
yep,
no,
yep."
And I'm like, he's gotta finish his little 3 minutes. But afterwards, I was like, "Hey man, we don't know each other, but don't do that shit anymore." Like that. I'm not even anybody, but like, don't.
But I even have the wherewithal to not.
Don't do. This lady was nice enough to. I was watching her reactions through the show there. It was like me. It was Marcy. There was a couple other comics there who we know how to not do that. And then when the open mic came, she was just amazed at some of the things that were. There was an Indian kid there, and he was making jokes about how much he hated his mother. She was vocally like, "Oh, no." And I was just like, "Yeah, boy, tackle him, get this out of his system."
One thing African women are not gonna do is hide their face. They're not gonna hide their face. They are not gonna hide their opinions. They will. Oh no, or they'll do that shit. Oh man, my mom hits me with that. I'm like, "Oh come on, all right, bro, what?" Because they just can't. It's like they just have to let you know that you are failing, that you have failed, that you have not only you have failed your family, you have failed your mother. You have they are vicious. They are so vicious. They'll just be like, look at how you shame your family. When you go, my mom didn't see me do stand up I started stand up, and I was very good at being engaging when I started with stand up. So I was very good with crowd work, and so when she came to a showcase, I would always do well on the showcase that she was at, because you're not about to bomb in front of your mom. Then she's like, "What are you doing with your life? You need to go back to school. Go back to school. It's time to become a lawyer. Stop playing." So I moved. So you need to stop playing. She didn't see me do stand up comedy live for almost 11 years until I recorded the album, and she already knew I see what you were doing. It appears to go well, all that other stuff. But I was like, nah, you ain't gonna see. You will. I remember leaving, and I'm like, she's not gonna see me do stand up again for a long fucking time, because she doesn't understand any of this anyway. At the time,
right.
She doesn't understand any of it. I have to. When I can create it, put it on the biggest stage possible for me at that time, that's when I'll bring her to a major comedy
club.
People
are here for you.
Damn near sell the thing out, and then we'll rock out that way.
I had a good time. I wanted to meet your mom that night, but it was a chaotic evening for everybody.
And they had to and I was very much, the staff was great to her. They multiple people got her a bouquet of flowers. That was really cool. But they also I had people guarding her Fort. I was like, hey. And then after that, I looked at one of my friends, my friend Annie, and I was like, take her back to the hotel. It was because I know people want to meet my mom. I know they really want, but it was you had to know me for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
It's okay, we're 6 years in, you get you this little high and by situation, because she's not that type of she doesn't do strangers like that anymore. She's a West African woman. She's like, hey, I've met enough people. She's like, honey, I've met all the people.
I don't need no more.
I don't need no more people to me. Even when I went back to Columbus I went back on the road over the summer. I headlined a club in Columbus and everything. She sat all the way in the back. And then one of my high school friends pulled up to the show and remembered her and said, "Oh, so good to see you. Bye, honey." And just laughed. You're not trying to kick? Nope. Nope. I don't want to meet your fucking fans. I don't want to fucking. I think they're great. This is great. It's all fine. I'm gonna go home. And we're gonna say, all right, cool. You can't do none of that.
Is your mom religious at all?
Insofar, I think if it weren't for people, she'd be much more religious. Okay. I think she is a God-fearing woman in that base way, but she doesn't like going to church. She's like, all these motherfuckers talk about is money. They all run their mouth. They talk shit behind your back. They just go there to gloat and talk about what their kids are doing. So for a time, she only went to church to sing in the choir. I don't know why she can't sing. She can do a lot of things well. Singing ain't one of them. Mama, you can't sing. I love you. I've been telling you since we've been riding in that Ford Escort. You would try to hit them baby face notes.
Oh, not the baby
you
face
didn't have
notes.
baby face. And then she wanted to sing songs that were just totally inappropriate to be singing in a car with a child. She was singing. Remember when Next dropped Too Close?
See,
Bruh, she was. You know what I'm saying?
See.
She was out here trying to
making it hard.
make it hard. I was like, hey, I said,
I'm in
first
the car.
I'm in the car. What you doing?
I know what the entendre is. Like,
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
I get it. You outside. I'm 11. You fucking my whole. I know what these things are. I go to school dance too. I don't need you talking like this. You know. So yeah, she did it mostly for the choir. I still think she goes sometimes for the choir, but nah, I think the people turned her off from church and turned her off from a lot of the religious principles. Yeah.
So you didn't like grow up in you weren't like a church kid.
Oh no, my father was a Baptist minister.
Oh.
Yeah, so your boy was the son of a preacher man. I was in there.
Hell yeah.
I always thought at the core, this is a really good performance.
Mm-hmm.
Also, because my dad didn't really he didn't really believe in shit, right? So it wasn't like he was practicing what he was preaching on stage, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like he was preaching fidelity and then living that. No, he was out here. It was the 80s and 90s, and they was making these butts in all shades of black, brown, and white, and that man had to know all about. He had to say. A Nigerian man from Nigeria of a certain time period? Nah, he was trying to fuck everything, and he didn't give a goddamn what you thought about it. So I'm seeing the contradiction, right? Mm-hmm. So for me as a kid, one, I did resent how often I had to be at church, but I thought this is just a really good performance. Like if you have a good preacher, you have a good pastor, they can go on stage and they can, work the crowd into a frenzy and do the thing and all that other stuff. And I just looked at the pastor as someone who's just really good at performing. Yeah. I never looked at it as like they have some sort of divine connection to God or whatever. That didn't really it sounded kind of fucking weird. But as a kid, I thought that everyone could public speak. I thought everyone could do it because I saw my dad do it. Yeah. And I would pantomime him when I was at home, and my mom would let me do it because it would just sort of tucker me out. So I thought everybody could talk. And but I think that's the biggest takeaway that I learned from having to be in church all the time. Then they split up. And then she went to another church that was like a burgeoning mega church that was non-denominational. And she was making me go to that from the time I was like 10 to maybe 12, because I think, single black mom raising this kid in her mind in a foreign land. I think she was very concerned over the direction that I was going to go. Mm-hmm. So she was making me go to this church, but it was another mega church. In all these churches, it's about money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude used to have 2 plaques on each side of him. It was called the Columbus Christian Center. And on one side it said, "Money cometh all the time." And on the other side it said, "All the time money cometh." And I'm like, bruh, he's just saying, give me money. He's just saying, pay me. And one thing I'll tell you about the black church too, motherfuckers are emotional terrorists because they'll keep the service going to ensure they get more. Mm-hmm. And then you have women who don't want to go home and be with their husbands, so they gonna catch the Holy Ghost right as that service is about to end. Yep. They gonna start to run through them holes because they don't want to be stuck in there with that motherfucker.
And now we here.
We got here at 9. It is 2:00.
I want to go home.
Like that. I remember what I remember telling them, because you couldn't just do. So you could have 2 services. My mom was like the queen of this. You go to 7:00 service, and if you're lucky, you get out at 9:30, right?
This is AM.
This is AM, okay, yeah, on Sunday. So I would try. I'd be like, "Yo, let's do that. If you're gonna make me do this, let's get to the 7." More often than not, we got to the 7. Sometimes what would happen is the service would be so good that she would be like, well, we're staying for the late service. I'm just like, man, you cannot. So that late service, if you're lucky, goes from 10 till about 1:30, right? Which is basically, and keep in mind, an hour and a half of this is like a concert, because it's just the band going nuts, right? And then after that, you think, oh, okay, cool. It's 1:30. I've been up since 6, so I can go home now and do my homework. I'm not even thinking about kicking it with my friends. My weekend has been destroyed, but at least I can go home and kick it with. No, honey, we have to go eat. We have to
Fellowship.
go. We have to go to fellowship. We have to go to Ryan's, because everyone's going to Ryan's. Everyone's going to Ryan's Steakhouse. So we get to Ryan's Steakhouse. Damn near 3 other churches are in there. So it's like a waiting list of like an hour and a half. And sometimes Mom would be like, we can wait. And I'd be like, you are making me never, you're ensuring that I will never believe in this cultist shit. You are ensuring it. And I think by the time I was like 12, she was just like, yeah, the boy's he's not with it. He's asking a lot of questions, and he doesn't, and he's not out here, he's not out here assaulting animals, so I think he's fine. But that shit was man. She would make me go to the Friday service. So she would kill, bro. She would kill my whole weekend, bro. Like I remember one Friday, I had a friend stay the night, and she was like, okay, but he's coming to the Friday service with us. I'm like, nigga, oh my god. Just like, so I tell him, I'm like, yeah, we gotta go to church, but it's not gonna be crazy, because it's like 7 o'clock, 8:30. It's not gonna be crazy. We're gonna come back to the crib. We can watch we can catch the tail end of TJF and play Sega and all this stuff. And he used to have a timer for this man. They used to have a timer for this nigga, and the timer would go from an hour and a half to 0. That timer hit 0. He said, "I know that timer hit 0, but we not on that timer's time. We on God's time." And I knew, I was like, "Oh my God,
I'm losing friends."
This woman, bro. We left at 11:30.
Wow.
We are 13 years old. It's basically bedtime anyway. You know what I'm saying? Actually, no, we were 11 years old. It's basically bedtime anyway. Man's never came to the crib ever again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you see what you did? I lost a friend. You want me to be a healthy, emotionally well? You had me out here with these sad adults who don't want to be home. You are punishing me. And so thankfully she stopped that, and she don't even ask. She don't even ask no more. She didn't even ask.
I feel bad now that I complained so much in my youth, because I thought that Jehovah's Witnesses had to do a lot. We didn't do all that. Like, bro, we had Monday night Bible study. Yeah. We had Thursday night from like 7:30 p.m. to like 9:30 maybe, and Saturday mornings we would go out in field service and knock on your door and interrupt your breakfast. Yeah. And then on Sunday we'd have the Sunday service from like 9 to noon or something like that. I would complain about that.
Bro, that's
nothing.
It's nothing. You would have Sundays, and this is back when when my parents were together. It was Sunday, you have Monday Bible study, you have Wednesday service, you had a Friday service, and you had a Sunday service rather. So then we go to the Columbus Christian Center. It's still the same thing. I don't have to go Mondays because I'm grown, right? I'm a little older, right? And my mom is like, that might be too much for the boy. I'm going some Wednesdays because she's making me. Most every Friday and every single Sunday. Bro, I don't remember what my Saturdays were like. I don't remember my Saturdays.
You're like, yo, you remember that one cartoon that used to come on Saturday? No, I don't.
I do not. I don't remember that. Bro, I couldn't be outside. She wouldn't like this. Like Saturdays, I would try to turn up so much. I would try to be outside all day. And then, but you're a kid. But hey, man, you better be inside before them lampposts come on. I'm just like, this is all I have. This is the only day that I have to be free. I can't even begin to, and it's all, fine now. But yeah, what a phenomenal racket that whole thing is and continues to be.
I will say that when growing up Jehovah's Witness, we didn't our services we didn't even have an entertainment portion.
Yeah.
It was service. You're doing awful. You're bad. You shouldn't do these things.
Yeah.
Here's why you shouldn't.
Terrible. Yeah, you're sinful.
And then here's the kids,
Yeah.
and then we go home. And then, you do the same things I remember when I was in there, I used to I was thinking about like, yo, did I ever actually give a shit?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I used to do things there, like
Yeah.
like they had microphones, so like when there was like a question and answers part, you would have like these microphones and these metal boom poles, and the young men would, the church would, carry them or whatever. And I was like, I didn't do any of that stuff out of the kindness of my heart. I did that stuff so I didn't have to participate.
Yes. You found ways to not be as active.
Yeah, like I found like I was still like kind of active, but like I did that for that, and I did it to cut up with my boys who were also doing it.
Yeah.
And so we're just
it's like, whatever. Yeah, dude. This man at Columbia, he used to cut like Ric Flair promos, bro. This dude, because he was making so much money off of the congregation,
just shining.
He would sit there and be like, "Then you see why I'm so yoked up in the spirit of God. That's why I have the biggest house. That's why I got that new Mercedes Benz outside." I'm like, "No, it's because we pay for this. We're paying you. The flock is giving you money." I remember one time, the funniest shit to me about churches, it's so theatrical, right? So, he puts hands on motherfuckers and they just pass out. I would watch this man. That's one thing I'll give the Baptists. They didn't really do all that. And they're Baptists, right? So they could catch the Holy Ghost and speak in tongues and everything. They wasn't really doing it like the non-denominational Christians were. This dude would just be laying hands on people and everything. And I just remember,
I love that.
And I can't help. So this is gonna sound so terrible. I remember just sitting there so many times like an 11-year-old kid, and I would just be like, weakness. Like, I was just like, how a grown man gonna touch you and you put his sweaty and then you just fucking
clammy money counting.
So I remember, and I was just like, man, that shit ain't never gonna happen to me. And then my mom is driving me to church one Sunday, and she just this poor woman, she knew. She was like, so I think we're gonna officially join this church today, and I was like, "God damn it!" I as a reflex, just like elbow them, like the door. It's like we're elbowing, but you elbow. I was like, no, it's cool, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just a twitch. So then, he does a service, and I'm in a terrible mood because I don't want this. At the same time, there's a part of me like, he think he gonna knock me. He think I'm soft. They gonna call us up here, and he gonna put hands on me. He think I'm gonna fold, and he did that thing. If there's anyone here, if you just want God in your life, you just want to become a member of this church, I just need you to come up and da. And for whatever reason, my mom was dilly dallying this day, like because people were making their way up to the front, and she's not. She's like moving, but it's not moving, and I'm annoyed. So I just sprint out and I like gesture to my mom like, "Come on," like a total asshole, right? But the congregation thinks this little boy is ready so they start clapping hard and shit like, yeah. So like I'm the one who did it. Like they're like, oh, he did it. And I'm just like, oh my God, no. Oh my God, bro. They think I'm into this. Oh my God. So we get up there and everything, and it was craziest thing. There's like 11 of us, and he's just knocking these motherfuckers over. He's just,
I love it.
The women shake. This is how you know women are good at faking orgasms, because these women with
not the Devon Dudley twins.
Yeah, and their husband really think he be doing that work when they between them sheets. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Up and down and then
put her down. That's why she spends 6 hours at church. She doesn't want to be home with you. You stink. So we get up there, and it's before, and I'm before, and I remember thinking this to myself. In order to, I don't know about my mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, does she have weakness in her? I have to defend the honor of my family. So I can't. If he puts hands on me, I can't. I'm not gonna go out. This man, after having touched like like 7 other heads. He does the thing, he puts the thing on me, you know, does the claw, gives me the one, the Kerry Von Erich, and he just fucking, and I'm not moving. I don't feel anything. I just feel his moist palm up against my, and he just fucking, and I'm just sitting there. He's like, I sit there again. I swear the third time he was like, like, and I was like, first of all, motherfucker, like, and I had like a box cut. That's how I was like, you fucking with my hair, bro. You're like, you fucking with my hair. So he finally lets go, and again, I'm looking at these people on the ground. I'm just like, weakness,
just like Vietnam.
Weak. I'm just like, out. I'm just like, you're so, look how weak you are. So I look over like my mom, and he does it. And my mom just stays there. And I was just like, yeah, you know a hustle when you see it. And he tries to, like, and then nothing. And then he just has to move on. And I remember walking back to the seat and just, like, she sat there. I was like, that wasn't so bad, was it? And I was like, see, it didn't go down when the holy man went and touched you. And she was like, we'll talk about this in the car. We'll talk about this in the car. And I was like, you didn't fall. She's like, well, you know, sometimes, honey, when the Holy Spirit, the energies are so in line. And I was like, that's not it at all. Nothing happened. I was like, these people are acting. They're faking it. They're trying to be. They want to be a part of the club real bad.
They're selling.
They're putting on a performance. They probably believe in God, but they put on a performance for God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, that shit was.
It sound like Shawn Michaels for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, they out here. Yeah, they're doing the SummerSlam. just oh, that shit.
Oh shit, man! I wish I would have had some of that in my youth. That would have been entertaining at least.
It was, but you just had to be there all the time.
Yeah,
that's the only part. If it was like, if they could, that's like the first time I went to a white church. It was like a Catholic church. That shit was like 45 minutes, made to an hour. Bro, it was one of the greatest church services I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, like can't nobody sing, can't nobody really play no music. Mm-hmm. Like no one in there can sing. No, the band is non-existent. None of that. But you got to leave.
Hard out, 11:30.
Yes. You didn't have to wake up at an ungodly hour. These people woke up at 10. They got there at 11 or 10:45. They were out in 45 fucking minutes. They got to go on with their day.
Yeah, because I got to see Howie Long and Terry Bradshaw talk about football and watch whoever I'm watching play at 1 o'clock.
Fact.
So we better get there.
Get there
at a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we didn't already had like 4 or 5 wrestling references, so I gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
Are you still watching?
I do.
Now?
I do. Okay. I don't really watch WWE. Mm-hmm. I take breaks. Like after Mania, I'll chill. I'll come back in Survivor Series, see what they're doing, and then I'll tap back in around Royal Rumble time. I think this year, to their credit, I like the Cody and Brock stuff, so that kept me in a little bit more. Black queer cosplay Seth Rollins doesn't really do it for me.
The drip god, you know.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I like the fact that he's finally figured out if I just do like Macho Man Randy Savage mixed with Billy Porter, it'll work out.
Wow, that is very accurate.
Yeah, so I'm happy he's figured something like that out.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I don't like the bloodline stuff. It's just
going on way too long.
Yeah, it's just too long. It's too long, and Roman's not there.
Yeah.
AEW, I've been watching. I like, they just had just a really, really hard year. The backstage controversy sort of just overshadowed the product, which is a shame because their pay-per-views are very, very good. And to WWE's credit, their premium live events are also pretty entertaining. The one they just recently did, I didn't really Crown Jewel. I didn't really like that one too much, but Full Gear I liked a whole lot. So yeah, I still watch. It's just one of those things where, like, I actively will not watch Raw. Like, it's just too long, and I could be
3 hours.
Yeah, I could be doing other stuff.
3 hours.
So yeah, I mean, but I'm happy for him or whatever. Impact was doing great stuff, and now they want to call themselves TNA again. I don't know why they want to do that.
Is that what's happening?
They're going back to TNA, which is crazy because Impact Wrestling was like arguably the best like wrestling storyline product show for like a year or two. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But I still do watch. I just have learned to temper my expectations because, these institutions, especially WWE, they make money hand over fist. So what I think about any of their product doesn't really matter. You know, I'm just I think I'm more happy to see talent that I really like get an opportunity to do things. It's like Nick Aldis being there, I think, is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because, I mean, as I've said on other podcasts, like when he was champion, he was a real world champion. The company kind of lived and died based on the gate that he would bring in and how he would do. So I give him a lot of credit for that. Cody being back there, hopefully they tie that thing up and he gets the thing that he deserves and all that stuff. But other than that, man, they're going to do what the fuck they want to do. You know, and I think that... you know, wrestling Twitter is so interesting because, you know, it's just a bunch of dorks who refuse to be happy. They just refuse happiness. They don't want it. They reject it at every turn. And to me, I'm just like that. See, there's nothing that could possibly make those people happy. No. And I was just like, well, you can be critical. You can have criticism or analysis, but you can't be those motherfuckers because those motherfuckers, they just want to be mad. And it's just like, you know, like AEW just did Full Gear. That was a great event. I saw one of the craziest Texas death matches of maybe ever. And Hangman versus Swerve, and Swerve won, and it's over like Rover. And, you know.
That was a gross match.
Dude, it was disgusting. It was fucking disgusting.
It was fucking gross.
It was so disgusting.
I thought I've seen the worst with Mox and like doing the blood stuff he does.
Yep.
No, I mean spoilers, I guess, but like there was.
He drank the man's blood.
Oh God, that was.
And then did the Muda mist with it, and then he posted online what Hangman said. He's like, "You are a part. I'm a part of you forever." I was like, first of all, you motherfuckers are disgusting. You motherfuckers are sick. Like I didn't even know. I was like, yo, I didn't look. I felt too many things during that match. I was just like, we need to stop. We gotta, like, this is great. This is also crazy. I don't want to.
What I do love is I do love right now. I think it's probably the highest ratio of black talent that is in the spotlight and oftentimes at the forefront.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that a lot more because you can never really say like when there's a black champion or someone put to the spotlight, you can never really say that they don't deserve it,
right?
Or that they didn't work to be there. You know, contrary to like many others talents of lighter hue,
of course,
who are sometimes just put there because they just fit a certain look or demographic.
That look, I love when they say it's got the look,
right? Even Cody's white ass, like he has all the look, but even he had to
he had to grow into that. It took time.
It took time.
He had to go away for a little bit.
That's why I think the community has latched on to Cody because it's like you went through that and your dad.
That and your daddy. And they got to do this. So since they ain't gonna give it to Bobby, you might as well strap on to Cody. Come on.
I thought when I was a young kid, I thought that Dusty was a light skinned dude. At first, because I was a kid, I didn't know. I was just like,
he from Florida. Like, you'd be like, oh, he'd be hanging out in Florida. Yeah, it could be,
but he's white man,
white guy,
white man. There was a lot of people that I thought were black. Mark Merrill, I was disappointed when I figured out he wasn't.
I remember thinking Mark Merrill was black too.
Like Taz.
Yeah, I knew Taz. I knew Taz
I was like, no.
I didn't think Taz was black. No, I know a Sicilian when I see one. I know that. I know a Sicilian when I see one. That is a straight up Italian man.
And I realized when he spoke.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not us.
That's not us.
That's not.
Yeah.
He says the N-word differently.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does. Sure does. Yeah. It feels like violence when you say
it. Give me your top 5 all time.
Wrestlers?
Yeah.
Man, okay.
Any criteria, it doesn't matter.
So my in order, I'll do order. Sting, easy. And this is, acumen, longevity, influence, all
just
that stuff.
Just in general.
Terry Funk. If someone says Terry Funk is the greatest wrestler of all time, they're not wrong. If anyone ever tell Sting, if they tell you, look at Terry Funk's whole body of work, it's kind of insane. Flair,
Mm-hmm.
Brett, and this is a harder one to pitch because because when you actually think about it, the breadth of his wrestling career wasn't terribly long. Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah, Perk Angle. The GOAT.
Yep, Perk. Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right, that's a respectable list.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of people put like put the thought into putting Terry Funk into that list.
You can't
dismiss Chainsaw Charlie, baby.
No,
you
you
can't.
cannot. Again, if someone sits there and says to you, Terry Funk is the greatest professional wrestler that ever lived, they are not wrong. You could try to disagree with them, but by on the numbers, it would just
if you just look at it.
Yeah, the just too much is on his side.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that Texas death match you saw. Funk was doing that shit in the 90s, in the 80s. Like he was already, like, when you talk about revolutionary pioneer, and also the fact that before the ways that he was able to reinvent himself, because he's a Funk, so he's a strong amateur background wrestler. He became world champion, and then the only reason he lost the world title is because his wife left him. And he was like, what do I do to make this work? And she was like, drop that fucking belt because you're never home. And he had to find a way to lose that belt, never want it back.
Right.
But then how do I keep myself relevant every single place that I go? Whether as a top babyface like in Japan, where the Funks were just gods, or in the States where he can go to what would become USWA in Memphis, or then go to the NWA, and then do short little stints in WWF, and then really help propel ECW into what it became.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he was really the forefather of that, while then going from being like the all-American white, meat babyface in Japan to being like the deathmatch king with him, Onita, Cactus Jack, when Mans is in his 50s by this point.
Yeah, doing dry ice casket matches. It's like, dog.
Yeah.
What
What the fuck are you doing? So it's impossible that you can't not put Funk on that Mount Rushmore after everything he gave.
Yeah, I respect that. I always remember as a kid hating Terry Funk because I didn't understand. I just know, here comes the old head. He's gonna do a pile driver. But then when you actually, you got an older friend who's got like the tape trading days, would say like, here, just we'll let you hold some tapes and you watch them, and you're like, hold on, this is Terry Funk.
Yes, Terry Funk. Yeah, you'd be like, oh.
This motherfucker's crazy.
Yeah,
I like this shit.
This man was breaking out moonsaults in his
50s.
Like, for why?
He's like, I'm just gonna pull out a moonsault.
I got an idea. I just wanna. I think I can do a moonsault, Paulie. I'm just gonna try it.
I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it every time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do moonsault now.
No, God.
I wasn't gonna do moonsault in my 20s either.
I'll never flip again. I used to flip. I used to flip.
Dancing.
I'll never flip too. I'll never flip again.
He used to spit on his head.
Yeah, I'll never do that again.
So, thank you for thanks for this, man. This is good.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll keep you out. Look, at my old age,
hey,
I'm
already thinking about food. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sitting like I took a nap just to do this.
Oh man,
I took a nap. I was like, I gotta get a nap in.
It's holiday week too.
Holiday week, yeah.
We got some figuring out to do.
Got to figure some stuff out.
Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, so please follow me on all the social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Setoiyo1. That is SETOIYO1. Also, please check out my album. Once again, buy it, stream it. Please buy it. It's on Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify. It's called The Foreigner. Greatly appreciate that. Also, I hope you guys have a tremendous holiday season, whatever it is that y'all do. I will be headlining Punchline Philly Wednesday, January the 10th at 7:30 p.m. So it's a one-nighter. I'll be headlining that. I have a great show for y'all, so please come out to that. Go on to punchlinephilly.com and please buy tickets.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Support live comedy.
Yes, please.
My schedule, much lighter. I'll be here most often. But yeah, just go to patreon.com/criticaljamestheory to if you want to support in any way, keep this thing going. If you're on YouTube, just do the cliche, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and try to feed my try to feed my family of me.
Yes.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Have a good one, y'all. I gotta get this as a drop. I keep saying this, but at the end of one of the shows with Brandon Mitchell, he gave me the perfect closer, and I want to have it as an audio drop, and it's just bye, nigga.
Yep. Yep.